Hi, I'm Safrianna Lughna, the Queer Spirit Guide, and today I am back live for day two of the Visibility Challenge that I am participating in with Samia Phoenix. It's already brought up so much. I was live yesterday and I got really nauseous talking about working with me, which is so fascinating. You know, I love doing these sorts of challenges and just experiences because they're a way to drop back in to where we're at, to really assess how far we've come and what we're currently working on. And I kicked off my visibility journey back in 2022. I had just bought my home that is currently under contract and up for sale. Uh, I had just bought it. I was terrified to share my voice. I had just deleted my old Facebook profile and was pulling back from social media completely because I had recently gone through a really nasty breakup where there was a lot of just vitriolic stuff coming through from an ex's community. And so I had like completely deleted all of my socials, and this 2022 was kind of me like coming back in. I made a new profile, just currently the profile I'm still using today on Facebook. And I joined a visibility challenge. I won a little giveaway and ended up getting some coaching, and the coaching was all around visibility. And so from there, I started finally sharing my voice. I started publishing things. I started blogging more. I started going live. Like I started doing all this visibility stuff. And yet, with this challenge, circling back around, I've realized how much visibility stuff I still have. And the truth is that I've been afraid if people see me selling, they see me saying, hey, here's a book for sale, here's a course for sale, here's a way you can work with me, that they would think something not true about me, that I only care about money or I'm just in it for the sales or whatever, right? And so this was such an interesting thing for me to get to after building. I've built a six-figure business before. I have been wildly successful, quote unquote, by like societal metrics. I've done all of the money mindset things. And yet I've circled back around to this point in my journey where I think because of the spiritual work that I've been doing over, especially the last few years, and um, the deeper work on my past, even, that has brought to the surface some of these other wounds. And of course, growing up in poverty, growing up a girl into a woman, being a spiritual entrepreneur, a teacher, a therapist. I've been in so many different professions where we don't make sales, we don't offer our services, people come to us or they're in our class or whatever, right? They don't have a choice. um I've been in all of these roles where we're not, societal expectations are that we're low paid or we don't get paid at all. I mean, there's still huge wounds for so many of us spiritual entrepreneurs around actually charging money for our services, because we think back to the ancient times when money was not really a thing in the way that it is now, but currency and exchange still is a thing. Our spiritual people are, to use the white person created word, the shamans, the medicine peoples, the elders who would lead in these ways. They would still be provided for with, the chicken, the blanket, the eggs, the basket, the whatever, that people would bring them. And now it's just money. That's what our current system is. There's no shame or blame. And I know this. And yet there's still this big fear I have around being visible and saying, hey, you can pay me for this thing over here. So that's what I'm unpacking in this visibility challenge. And I know that so many other people struggle with this too. Whenever it's like asking for support in some way, right? So asking for support in a financial sense, everybody needs financial support in the world that we exist in right now, right? And some of us have salary jobs, some of us have hourly jobs, some of us are self-employed, some of us are artists, right? And we all deserve to be abundantly cared for. And we offer things of value to one another. And like that's the thing that boggles my mind is I know when I work with clients, I know when people read my books, they get beautiful results and have wonderful experiences or expand in their perspective so much more. And so it is really just that fear, that underlying fear of being misunderstood, because I've been sold to in really gross ways. I have been targeted by coaches. I have been guilt tripped into purchasing. Like I have felt all that. And that is not who I am. And I've had so many people reflect this back to me that it's not who I am. And yet that is my fear of impacting someone in that way. So I'm doing my best to, really maintain a good impact in the world and to open people to considering their impact even more, which is why this is a big sticking edge for me and why I'm using these 11 days to share with you things that I have in the world that if you are called to them, you can purchase. And today I'm going to talk about Bumblebees and White Balloons, which was my very first novel. And it came out at this time of year in 2023. And it was really the turning point for me in so many ways of visibility, of processing, of showcasing my voice in the world. And every single person that I know has purchased this book has come back to me and said something absolutely incredible about how it changed their perspective on any number of topics, because this book covers a lot of very heavy topics, but that it was approached in such a way that they were able to receive it and soften. And so I want to tell you a little bit about my baby book, Bumblebees and White Balloons. It was my first child in terms of putting my creativity out in the world, not in a chapter, right? And I'm not diminishing the chapters because Raising Wild Ones, which was my first ever public piece in My Name's Safrianna Lughna, was immensely just transformative, cracking me open, making me the person I am today, which led to me being able to, publish this solo work. So Bumblebees and White Balloons is not like any other book I've ever read. So I don't, I don't know what to compare it to, but it is a slice of life book, meaning it is set in the real world with very real characters in a slice of life. You can put yourself in their life and know exactly what it is like. This book is both for people who have experienced pregnancy loss, as well as those who have maybe um, experienced some close to them who's experienced pregnancy loss, and to validate and to give words to that specific experience. So it's a big spoiler, but it is kind of the core of this book. And so I lead there because it's heavy and it's really moving to read about these characters experiencing this. The book is set during the prime of 2020 when we were in the midst of the COVID lockdowns and there were protests happening. There were all kinds of just charged events happening in the world. And our characters are experiencing their own life against the backdrop of COVID. And our characters are in a queer polyamorous relationship. So this book is really a lot of representation, but the thing that everybody comes back to me and says is that it does it in such a way that people really felt like they could understand these different aspects of these characters' lives that did not relate to their own. I had white women saying, "Oh my gosh, I understand uh, the perspective of Black people a little bit better now because I really into this character." And I had sensitivity readers read for Jor or Jordan because they are a Black lead character, and I am not a Black person. I'm definitely not a Black non-binary person. So, you know, this book is an intersectionality book, if anything else. It is a book about all of the places of privilege and non-privilege that people experience. And I know that everybody that reads it learns something about privilege and what that looks like. I've had Many, many people ask me if there's going to be a sequel and if there's going to be a TV show or a movie one day. This would make a great Hallmark movie for sure. For sure, this would make a great Hallmark movie. Um, but I don't see myself writing a sequel because if it was a sequel, it would be set literally right now and everything that's going on in the world, and especially what's happening with ICE. I can only see these characters just not having a good time with what's happening right now, and really speaking up. But yeah, that's I'm writing my other novel series now, so I don't see myself doing a sequel to this one. But this book is for you if you would like to feel seen in your own personal experiences of grief or loss. If you would like to witness queer polyamorous love as a central plot and not just a subplot. If you would like to read a book that gives words to absolutely unspeakable experiences. If you know someone or love someone who has walked through the fire that is pregnancy loss and nearly having their whole worlds destroyed, but still believe in love, this is for you. This book is about representation, it's about realness, it's about humanity. It's for everyone. I think that there's something for everyone in this book, though everyone means there's going to be a lot of pissed off people. The format of the book, just in case you're curious, goes back and forth between Abby and Jordan, who are my two main characters, and then there is a side chapter by another character in here. There's two sections, and each section kind of looks at a stage in life, and it follows the what's the word I'm looking for? The patterns of grief, the stages of grief. There we go. I was like complete blank on that. It follows the stages of grief as the chapters in the second half to really also teach about what grief looks like and give readers an opportunity to see themselves reflected in their own grief and navigating their own loss. So, Bumblebees and White Balloons. I'm just going to read you the back book cover, and I've already given you the worst of spoilers. So, Bumblebees and White Balloons. Abby and Jordan are the queer couple who seems to have it all. Jobs they love, a storybook romance, and a safe, ethically non-monogamous relationship, a beautiful home in Baltimore, and soon a baby on the way. But just as their happiness reaches an unimagined peak, they are confronted with a pandemic, medical flukes, and rampant racism. Now the edges of their perfectly woven picture of life begin to fray, unraveling thread by thread. Set against the backdrop of 2020 America, Bumblebees and White Balloons addresses many of the challenges modern families faced during such an uncertain time, in addition to the rarely explored concepts of pregnancy, complications, and loss. And yes, this book is semi-autobiographical. I myself have experienced pregnancy loss, and that is so much of what inspired this book for me to have a way to process, to feel, to heal, to share with other people, other women and other folks who have lost children. And it's not an easy topic, but by God, I'm really happy for how it ended for Abby and Jordan, and I hope you will be too. So if you are considering purchasing this book, you can do so on my website. You can also do so on Amazon, and you can get signed copies directly from me. Pardon me here. I wanted to pull a card for us, and it decided to throw itself on the floor. So I asked, for the person who's considering this book, what's the message? And we got Starkeeper. Cosmic ancestors seed the light by staying grounded. What an interesting message to receive. First off, I just want to show the cover and the card. We've got the white and the blue here that I love side by side. So if this book is for you, it's because you feel that common thread of humanity. You love humans. You want to see them thrive. You want to see them stay grounded and continue to see the light in the midst of all of these chaotic times. And you're looking for a feel-good story that warms your heart and sparks that light and that love for humanity more and more. So again, this is for you if you are seeding the light and staying grounded in this human reality that we share, right? Oh my gosh, what's coming in is so many of us try to spiritually bypass the really hard experiences of being human. And I talk about it like all the time that there is no ascending out of these human bodies like during this human life. Our goal is simply to learn to do the shadow light dance and flow in and out of what being human looks like, right? We have hard times, we have easy times, we have good times, we have not so good times. And that is being human. And this book confronts that being human can be really ugly sometimes and really freaking hard. And we can come back to love in the end. So I hope you'll consider reading Bumblebees and White Balloons if it speaks to you. It is still currently on Kindle Unlimited if you happen to have a subscription to that. I am slowly moving away from all things Amazon. So despite the fact that my books will stay up there, I'm leading people in a lot of other directions to actually get them. But if you have that and you want to read it there, you can do that as well. And hopefully in the future, all of my books will end up in libraries and people can go get them completely for free with a library card. So that's part of the long-term dream. And that's why I have to get visible and share with you all that I do this stuff and I have these books and these stories that you can read, that you can support, because that's how I get to continue doing what I love to do. And I love to write. And I'm really so proud of this book. And again, everybody who has read it has just given me such beautiful feedback on how it has opened them up. So if that is you, I hope it will open you up too and fill your heart with love for all of humanity. All right, my friends. Day 2 of the Visibility Challenge done. Bumblebees and White Balloons shared. Now you know a little bit more about me and what I'm offering in the world. I'll see you back here tomorrow. Bye for now.